Namaste, welcome to this teaching methodology tutorial on Prasarita padottanasana. Padottan is a wide stretch. So you're starting in Tadasana, drop down, stretch your legs out. Now that the legs are stretched out, the toes will be slightly, very slightly, virtually parallel or slightly inward. Hands on the hip. The knee should be soft. Now to get this softness, you got to engage the inner thigh. If you just drop down, there's no kinesthetic intelligence. You got to pull in the inner thigh, pull up the pelvic floor, push your hips back. There are lots of minute things you're doing here. Drop your palms here. Now start to free up your lower back. Start to drop your palms flatter. And now give yourself some time. You don't have to stretch here, you just have to let gravity do its work. In forward folds, it's relaxation. Now keep your hands such that the distance from hand to foot is the same as distance to the center line. Now you can push your heels out a bit more, start to pull in the core. Slowly you'll find that the hamstrings are beginning to get a little bit of a stretch. They're beginning to get a little warm and stretched. Start to breathe in and out. So this is one variation. For the second variation here, I want you to engage the inner thigh so that, and the stomach goes in, so that the hip goes even higher and you're able to now drop your elbows without taking the legs too wide. In the third variation, you can have your hands on your hips. Keep pushing your hips back. The fourth variation, holding your toes. If you're more warmed up after a lot of Surya Namaskars, you can have the head on the floor without taking the legs too wide. Or here. So the gap from foot to palm should be the same from palm to head and even on this side. And final variation. Don't let your body collapse forward. Push your hips back. Engage your thigh. Come back. Take your time. Just slowly move your legs back. And back to Tadasana. I'm going to ask Lily to come in. It's a tough position to be able to cue properly. Coming to stand in Tadasana. I hope you're warmed up. Yeah. Legs wide. Hands on your hips to begin and then palms on the floor. That's beautiful. That's very good. So her back is absolutely straight up until now. Hands on the floor. Excellent. Just take your time there. Slowly she'll find that the hamstrings begin to open up. Some of your students may not be able to go down all the way. They can be on the fingertips. From there, starting to now bend the elbows. Super. So it's not important that the elbows touch. What's more important is that the hips are constantly being pushed backwards. Can you feel that? Also engage the inner thighs. Pull in the stomach. Feel that the lower back has more space and the tailbone's pushing back. Try the third variation with your hands on your hips and just dropping the head. Good. So now you've got to work on your balance to push the hips back. Very beautiful. Now hold on to your legs, your feet. Wow. Wow. The good thing is that the hips are not moving. A lot of your students, to get the head on the floor, will just touch the head somehow, but the hips would have come here. That's not what we want. The head touching is not important. The fact that you're pushing the hips back so the hamstrings are engaged is important. And the last variation, with the hands behind. Now be very careful with the heels effectively holding you in place. This opening, Really a beautiful posture. Just 2 more breaths. Coming out of this is very important. So just put your palms back on the floor. So first to the hips and then to the floor. Slowly slide your legs close to each other. Now you can have your hands on the floor while you do that so that there's support. Yeah. Super. Thank you. Please be very slow when you teach this because it can hurt people. Coming in and out of the posture is where injuries happen. Let people take their time to come out. Namaste.